Once upon a time, in a lively village, there lived a woman named Funke, known for her beauty and incredible talent. She married Duro, a handsome man who turned her life into a nightmare after their wedding. Duro belittled Funke's efforts and ignored her love, leaving her heartbroken and confused. One day, after preparing Duro's favorite meal, he cruelly threw the food in her face. Funke fell ill and received no care from Duro, who was too busy with his own life. Upon returning home, she found Duro with another woman, leaving her shattered. Heartbroken and alone, Funke sought comfort from her mother-in-law, only to learn of her passing. With newfound friendship from Wasi, Funke began to reclaim her happiness and prepare for a festival. At the festival, Funke danced beautifully, capturing the attention of everyone, including the queen. Her journey transformed her from despair to joy, reminding everyone that love can triumph over adversity. Once upon a time, in a vibrant village nestled between lush hills and flowing rivers, there lived a beautiful woman named Funke. She was known far and wide for her industrious nature and her incredible talent in crafting intricate beadwork and weaving colorful mats. Funke was not only beautiful but also possessed a heart full of love and warmth. Funke had married a man named Duro, introduced to her by his mother, a formidable woman with a reputation for getting what she wanted. Duro was a handsome man, but after their wedding, he transformed into a man who turned her life into a living nightmare. From the day they exchanged vows, Duro never treated Funke as his wife. Duro, a critical husband, constantly belittled Funke's efforts and scolded her at every opportunity. Despite his harshness, Funke, a resilient woman in her late 20s, showed her husband genuine love and care. The villagers often questioned Duro's harsh treatment of Funke, but she remained steadfast in her belief that he would change. However, deep down, Funke was heartbroken and confused about Duro's behavior. One fateful day, Funke decided to prepare Duro's favorite meal in hopes of bringing them closer. She hoped this gesture would cheer him up after a long day at the farm. Duro, filled with rage, returned home and flung the food in Funke's face, accusing her of trying to kill him. Funke stood there, shattered and unable to comprehend the hatred directed at her by Duro. As the years passed, the love that once blossomed between Duro and Funke faded into a distant memory. In her solitude, Funke often sought solace in the company of Duro's mother, who reassured her that Duro would eventually come around. Despite the reassurances, Duro continued to treat Funke like a stranger in her own home. One night, when Funke fell ill, Duro returned home late and noticed her shivering in pain. He ignored her, continuing his evening as if nothing had happened. In the morning, with great difficulty, Funke made her way to the village healer. The healer prepared some herbs and informed her that she was lucky to be alive. For over a week, Funke remained at the healer's hut receiving treatment. All the while, Duro never came to check on her. Days turned into weeks, and when she finally felt better, Funke resolved to return home. Upon stepping into their humble abode, she was confronted with the shock of her life. She found a strange woman in her kitchen, laughing and preparing a meal with her husband. Funke, a young woman, asked in disbelief, "What is going on here?" Her heart raced as she turned to Duro, desperate for answers. Instead of responding, Duro slapped Funke hard across the face, his eyes fierce as he warned her never to question him again. Funke's eyes filled with tears as confusion washed over her. The strange woman, BC, simply laughed and walked away with Duro, hurling mocking remarks at Funke. Overwhelmed by the betrayal, Funke rushed to Duro's mother's house seeking comfort. As Funke arrived, she was met with unsettling news. Duro's mother had passed away a few nights ago. Funke's heart sank even further. When she questioned why she hadn't been informed about the burial, the elders revealed that Duro had deceived them. He told them that Funke had deserted him, and as per tradition, if a man was to bury his mother, he needed to appear with his wife. Since he claimed to be single, the elders suggested that he take a new wife to fulfill the burial rites. Duro quickly married BC, the woman who had captured his heart long ago, despite his mother's opposition to their union. Bisi, the daughter of Duro's mother's sworn enemy, stood as a symbol of forbidden love. Duro, despite his mother's vehement opposition, yearned to marry her. Duro found himself trapped in a marriage with Funke, whom he regarded as an obligation rather than a partner, highlighting the conflict between his desires and family loyalty. Feeling lost and despondent, Funke wandered back to her own home, burdened by the weight of betrayal and heartbreak. The pain of seeing Duro happy with another woman shattered Funke in ways she never thought possible, amplifying her feelings of loneliness. The death of Duro's mother left Funke without any form of support, compounding her isolation as both of her parents had died many years before. Funke became a mere shadow of her former self, with loneliness becoming her constant companion. As time passed, Duro and Bisi flaunted their newfound happiness in front of Funke, adding salt to her wounds. They reveled in the love that Duro had denied Funke during their time together. Despite the heartbreak, Funke continued to live in the same compound, silently enduring the pain, nursing the wounds that Duro's cruelty had inflicted upon her for years. What Duro failed to realize was that Funke had loved him with all her heart. He was her first love, the only man she had ever loved. Funke, a hopeful woman in her 30s, had never imagined how cruel love could be. All her life she had yearned for love, but life had dealt her a harsh hand. One hot afternoon, while heading to the village stream to clear her thoughts, Funke bumped into a young woman named Wasi. Noticing the sadness in Funke's eyes, Wasi asked her what was troubling her. For the first time in a long while, someone seemed genuinely concerned. Funke poured her heart out, sharing the pain and struggle she faced in her marriage. Wasi listened intently and offered words of encouragement, telling Funke that she deserved better and that she should not give up on herself. Wasi became a true friend to Funke, a shoulder to lean on when life felt overwhelming. She encouraged Funke to find strength within herself and to prioritize her own happiness. As the days passed, their friendship blossomed, and gradually, Funke began to laugh and smile again. One day, while Funke and Wasi were chatting by the village stream, they overheard villagers discussing an upcoming festival to celebrate the birth of a royal baby. Excitedly, they spoke of the festivities, and Wasi, a supportive friend, seized the opportunity to encourage Funke, a 30-year-old woman, to participate. She believed that the festival would allow Funke to break free from the chains of her troubled marriage and take charge of her life. Hesitant at first, Funke eventually agreed, realizing that it was time to reclaim her happiness. As the festival day approached, she immersed herself in the preparations, practicing her traditional dance in the evenings. Duro, a teasing 14-year-old, and Bisi, a playful 13-year-old, would often throw mocking remarks Funke's way, claiming that no amount of dancing could change her misfortune. However, with the encouragement of her supportive friend Wasi, a cheerful 12-year-old, Funke brushed off their comments and focused on her practice. On the eve of the festival, Funke and her fellow participants gathered for their final rehearsal. While performing, the village queen caught sight of Funke dancing. Mesmerized by her grace and elegance, the queen inquired about Funke's story. The maidens shared the trials and tribulations Funke had faced, and the queen was deeply moved. Finally, the day of the festival arrived. The village square was adorned with vibrant decorations, and lively music filled the air. Dressed in a stunning traditional attire, Funke stepped onto the festival ground, her spirit lifted. As Funke danced, she captivated everyone present, including the king, who marveled at her talent. Her performance mesmerized the villagers who couldn't take their eyes off her. Bisi, watching from the sidelines, felt a twinge of jealousy. The attention Funke received made her uneasy as she regretted ever underestimating her co-wife. The queen, moved by Funke's grace, stood to honor her, and the villagers gasped in shock. This was the highest recognition bestowed upon anyone in the village, a rare honor that hadn't been awarded in nearly a decade. The queen presented Funke with a beautifully crafted necklace, symbolizing her recognition and support. What began as a celebration for the royal baby transformed into a celebration of Funke's resilience and courage. The villagers applauded and celebrated Funke, making her story an inspiration to others facing similar challenges. In the days that followed, Funke's life took a positive turn. The queen offered to be the mother Funke had lost, adopting her into the royal household as her daughter. Consequently, Funke's marriage to Dura was dissolved, for they had never truly lived as husband and wife. In their village, a valid reason for the dissolution of a marriage was recognized, and Funke, now free from her troubled past, began to live in the palace as a princess. Not long after her new life began, a prince from a neighboring village approached to ask for Funke's hand in marriage, having been captivated by her beauty and grace at the festival. Initially disheartened by the news of Funke's marriage to Duro, he felt a wave of sadness wash over him. However, when he heard about the dissolution of Funke's marriage, a spark of hope ignited within him, prompting him to hurry back. Funke, now married to the prince who adored her, finally experienced the love she had longed for throughout her life. As Funke settled into her new life, she realized that she had transformed from a woman who endured a painful marriage into a beloved princess. Everyone, including Dura and Bisi, could not believe how beautifully Funke's life had turned out. Life may seem harsh, but with resilience, love and support, happiness can indeed be found. As Funke embraced her new life, she vowed to always remember her journey and the lessons learned along the way. She became a beacon of hope for others, inspiring them to believe in love, kindness, and the possibility of a brighter future. And so, the story of Funke and her transformation from despair to joy became a cherished tale in the village, passed down through generations as a reminder that love can triumph over adversity.